Hello, folks. My name is Detroit Miracle, and this is a Tupac Shakur edition video. Yeah, folks, I'll call this one Tupac Shakur, the rebel against the social orders of society. Yes, indeed. Okay, many know full well that Tupac's mother was a Black Panther member, and we're familiar with the Black Panther Party. Yes, there's all sorts of information out there, and Black Panthers are activists. They are against social injustices, unfairness towards the Black community as a whole. Yes, and they took up the struggle to champion their causes. And Tupac's mother, Afeni Shakur, was a member of that party and took up that very struggle herself. So when she had Tupac, he would eventually be raised and conditioned with her ideals towards improving the conditions of Black Americans and probably Black people all over the world. Yeah. And when Tupac was growing up, he saw those injustices happening in society as far as where poor Black people were living as compared to how white people were living and existing, which were doing much better. And he noticed that all the poor communities mostly were Black, and all the suburban communities were mainly white. But we know that many Black people also stay in the suburbs. Yes, I am one of them. I don't stay in a rich suburb, but it's a pretty fair place to stay. Okay, so Tupac, and with that being said and done, through the course of Tupac's earlier stages of his life, he was apparently deemed and recognized as being very intelligent, extremely talented, poetic, and aware of his surroundings. So Tupac's mother and all those who had came to know him recognized that he was special and there was something about him. So you might say Tupac was raised and conditioned to be a activist, but he had remarkable skills and abilities. So Tupac would later obtain fame, riches, and notoriety. But during the course of that, he did not disregard his activist nature. He would still speak out against problematics in society that plagued Black people and Black communities. And then he had gotten in trouble with the law, but rather they unfairly attacked him and beat on him for no apparent reason for jaywalking. So with that being said and done, he was much outspoken about those type of social injustices as far as racism, unfair profiling, and that is all a part of his conditioning there. You know, he recognized that there was a problem and he tried to do his best to speak out against it. Unlike many other Black celebrities that once they obtained fame, riches, and notoriety, totally forgot about things like that were happening in those communities involving Black people, because many famous Black people refuse to speak out against that specifically, even though they have those platforms and they have a lot of money to affect change in those communities. But I'm getting into something else. But at the same time, I'm trying to give an example of Tupac's mind frame and mindset. So with that being said, and all that factored in, Tupac didn't get in accordance with other types of Black famous people who got their riches and then totally forgot about the struggle that Tupac, his mother, and other associates had taken up. So he remained outspoken up until the time that he died. So Tupac was against specifically the governing bodies of society and legislations which appeared to be and were unfair to certain ethnics and skin colors that are. And he voiced his opinionation outwardly and as frequently as he felt it necessary to do. So he was firmly showing that he was a rebel against that particular social segment or established order in society, being that of the powers that be that make the laws, carry out the laws, enforce the laws, and abide to the laws. But with that being said, Tupac recognized that it seemed that the laws were also unfair and it didn't apply to every single person that there was, because the prisons are filled with mostly black people, even though black people make up a small portion of society. So, Tupac was braver than a lot of black entertainers by speaking out against such atrocities that occurred. And he had so much money, or he had a lot of fame, recognition, and power that he could have just forgot about all of that and immersed himself into the suburban livelihood, and hang around fancy country clubs and beaches and nice communities, but he chose not to. Tupac felt comfortable hanging out with the homeboys and homegirls from the communities and whatnot. So his activist character and spirit was very much alive, true, and strong, even after he had reached the height of his fame and celebrity status. Another thing that Tupac was against, he didn't conform to the secret society's brand of occultism through the implementation of symbolism. He didn't conform to that. Tupac adamantly had his own mind, his own brain, and he chose to do exactly what he wanted to do. You can look at his album covers, his body tattoos. He wore crosses. He wore angel medallions. He didn't wear upside down crosses. He didn't wear 3 6s. There was no tattoos like that. So he did whatever he wanted to do. But you would see some celebrities or some other musicians and musical personalities apply that agenda to their practices by putting that type of stuff in their videos and talking about it in lyrics. But Tupac wasn't like that, and he wasn't about that. And openly, he started an order called Illuminati. That was Kill Illuminati. So he was rebelling against that particular established social order or fraternity and all other secret societies. Like, look at Tupac's album cover on Machiavelli. I think he put his image on a cross where he was being crucified. And what I took from it is being that society in a whole, or the established orders, were the ones that persecuted him, crucified him, and etc. That is what, so when he put himself on that cross, he was taking on an image as a rebel activist for bringing about change in all the communities that he had come to know personally by him having lived there, struggled there, and endured there. Because Tupac had known many hungry days as well, many thirsty days. Tupac was a major celebrity figure, but he didn't always eat at the best restaurants and drink the best wine. Yeah, he's a person that is identifiable with any and everyday people of just about any hood in America, or in fact the whole world. So the way Tupac looked at it was, he was on his own. It was all him. It was all up to him. So why would he give authority or devotion to some other group outside of God's law and God's rule? So he took everything on himself. He wore his own images. He chose his own tattoo images. He spoke his own lyrics. He pushed his own agenda through. And it seemingly has worked out well for him by doing that, even many years after his passing. Yeah, folks. Well, this concludes this video for today, or this late night. So folks, I'd appreciate it if you would give me those likes, comments, and subscribe to my channel, Detroit Miracle.